What up, y'all? It's your man Abuamerican. I'm up here above the hills of my German village. It's quite beautiful. I'm trying to get a little exercise, you know, keep myself fit, walking and whatnot. And, you know, I'm out here with my daughter. She's Muslim, of course. She wears hijab and everything. And she's saying that her school, you know, she's an adult, really. Her school took her to the church. And I had to wonder, why on earth would they do this? It's like, and it's not an attack, what I'm saying here, what I'm about to say. But when you look at it, the Christian religion is a dead religion. So why are they still teaching it? And then it brought me to the idea and the concept and the thought of, why is it a dead religion? And that's because the religion is following the society and the society is not following the religion. So when we look at Christianity, it changes with the times and what's popular and what's the current trends. At one time, divorce wasn't allowed in Christianity. Now it is. And we saw this back with no-fault divorce when it came a thing, and the church wanted to maintain members and numbers. They folded and they went with it. Divorce is allowed. Only a few places like the Philippines and whatnot is it still like, you know, something that you can't do or you can do with great difficulty. Next, we looked at homosexuality, I think. Or no, it was actually women pastors, priests, and these type of things. And they were like, this is not something that's allowed. And then with the advent and the push for feminism, you know, as a mentality and a methodology for society as a whole, they again collapsed and folded with popular opinion and, you know, times and whatever else you want to call it. Whatever the going terminology is, I can't remember what the term is. I'm like focusing on my breathing because this is a big hill. Walking up like a very, very big, large, long hill. Next came homosexuality. Homosexuality was a sin against humanity. And you found that as homosexuality became more popular and became a thing, the church also collapsed on that. Now we have gay pastors, priests, whatever else, running around churches and advising people on morality and type of other things. Why does a person need to become a Christian? Why does a person need to practice Christianity? If a person just maintains his ideology, who he is, what he is, and follows society, the church is eventually going to come along later on and say, oh yeah, we're with you. So in the average person's mind, the church is behind. They're way behind the times. Like they like to say, oh, it's an archaic religion, and they need to come up with the times. So the church is basically confirming and establishing, they are reinforcing the idea that they're behind times and they're no longer needed. Because if they were, why is the church following society and everything that's popular in society? The church is basically telling them that they're right. Now, as we know from the egalitarian cycle, things are going to come full circle, and we see it happening already. We see a great deal of conservatism returning to the West. It's too late, but when the collapse comes, it's going to be ripe for tough men taking over and rebuilding society. We're in the times, easy times. They cause hard times. Hard men create easy times. Most conservative men are by far tougher than, you know, hipsters. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there and just... Anyway. If the church was just to stick to their guns and stay where they're at and just say, hey, you know what? Let's see if I can get this in here. No, I can't get in here. Everything's whited out. If the church was just to stick to their guns and say, hey, you know what? We're going to let our numbers fall. And we don't care what happens. It doesn't matter to us if our numbers dwindle down to nothing. If they were to go to near levels of death, where like they almost die out, but they stuck to their principles, what would happen is when conservatism comes full circle and when it comes back to power and strength, the church would be ripe and in an exceptionally powerful position because they'd be ready to say, look, did you really have to go through all of that trouble? Did you really have to go through all of that hard time to see that we were right. You've come back to us. Welcome back to the fold. But they won't do that. And when conservatism returns to the West, after the collapse, after the hard time, after everything goes on, there's my lighting right there. After everything goes wrong, when they return back to conservatism, do you think the church is going to have any position or any power? Probably not. Because they're going to be like, you were one of them. When we needed people to stick to the guns, when we needed people of strength to stand up and say, this is wrong, even when everybody else was saying, hey, this is okay, you collapsed with the rest of them and you took sides with them. You said that we could have gay pastors. You said we could have women pastors that were out there cussing. You know, there's that female pastor who's just cussing, got her tattoos, feet up on the altar in a church. They're not going to be pleased with them. And they will have made themselves obsolete, both now and in the future. Looking at the time here, 6 minutes. I don't want this to be a long video. So, yeah, I'm not sure why they're trying to teach a dead religion. Unless it's like Rollo Tomassi said, it's just a way to further gynocentrism. You know, teaching men to be tools to be tools and utility to women. And really, when you look at the church, at least in America, that's what it is. Anyway, help me out with the idea. Someone drop your comments, drop your ideas. Let me know why they're still trying to teach religion to teach a religion that really doesn't have a spine or a backbone. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of people, the conservatives, they have with let's see some of the background out here where I live and why I live out here. If this isn't enough reason for you to see why I live in Germany, then you know, hey, it is what it is. On a different note, let me just drop this real quick. I know it's 7 minutes and it's way off topic, but I just watched a video by Coltane. And he was talking about conservatism and liberalism. And he was saying that, and he showed with data that our selected people prefer high density populations, areas. So if you live in a major city and you enjoy living there, there is a massive amount of proof that you are biologically an R-selected person. And conservative people, who are largely K-selected, prefer to live away from people. And I hate London with a passion. When I moved out of there and I moved here into the countryside, I was very happy. And he shows that conservative people prefer countrysides and to be away from people. And R-selected people, they prefer large density, populous, cities where there's a whole bunch of people and like being around them. Now, the reason why they like that, that's up for discussion. But, yeah, something I noticed. So anyway, let me know what you think. Why are they teaching religion still? At least the Christian religion. And I think this is one of the reasons why the alt-right, they hate Islam so much. Because we're people who stick to our guns no matter what. You can try and change our religion, but we're going to fight you tooth and nail. And you know what? We'd rather die than change our religion. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to die upon it. If you want to kill us for it, hey, that's cool too. But, we don't turn the other cheek, we fight back. So anyway, this is your man, Abuamerican. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. No, not on Facebook, but Steam it. All at Abuamerican. I'm out.